You've got to that point in your four-wheel drive evolution where you want a winch. How do you think about it? What are some of the key considerations you need to have, and what other equipment do you need? And at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you about something that is really cool. I remember the day I first got a winch, and I came into my four-wheel drive club and I said to a guy called Peter, I'm like, I got myself a winch. And he's like, awesome, Matt. Now you're going to get yourself into all sorts of trouble. I'm like, huh? And he's like, yeah, because you've got a winch on the front of your vehicle, you'll now have the confidence to go into places, and all of a sudden you'll get yourself stuck a lot more. And I found out the hard way, he was absolutely correct when he said that to me. So when you do fit a winch to your vehicle, realize that you are going to be more confident in what you tackle off-road. But the first thing we'll talk about is the different types of winches that you can have fitted to your vehicle. Now, there's a lot of different solutions. The most common by far is an electric winch, and there's a number of key reasons for that. It's easy to install, it's very flexible in regards to its location, because you can run electrical cables from the winch to your batteries. You can set batteries in different parts of the car. There's just a lot of flexibility around the electric winch, which is one of the reasons it's so common. But there's also what we call a PTO style of winch. You don't see many of these on vehicles these days, but it's power takeoff, PTO. They're a very powerful style of winch because they take their power from the engine via the gearbox. But they are heavy, they are clunky, and many modern vehicles don't actually allow for the fitment of a PTO style of winch. The next style we can use is a hydraulic style winch. It's driven by hydraulic motors. The issue with that is getting hydraulic power from your motor. So it requires fitting up a special hydraulic pump or taking part of the power from the power steering system in your vehicle. So it is harder to install to your vehicle. And traditionally, they tend to be heavier as well. So this again brings us back to the electric style of winch. Now, in the electric winch space, we also have variants on that. Like on my race car, I have a 12-volt winch that is overdriven at 24 volts, so it's quite fast, and it's a more specialized winch. And then we can get into quad motor, dual motor, and all sorts of other variants. Let's just bring this right back to you as a four-wheel driver, using your four-wheel drive the way most people do. What style of winch do you need? Now, I would say that for the recreational four-wheel driver, an electric winch is going to be the best solution because it's comparatively light, its mounting solutions can be flexible, its power solutions are easily accessible in most four-wheel drives. So what size electric winch do you need? Well, they come in a range of different sizes. Everything from like 6,000 pound, don't ask me why we still talk about winches in pounds, but we tend to. 6,000 pound, 9,000 pound, 12,000 pound, 15, 20, and there's other variants as well. Most recreational four-wheel drivers are going to be using an either 9,000 pound or 12,000 pound winch. To do the conversions for you, a 9,000 pound winch is just over 4 metric tons, and a 12,000 pound winch is just under 5.5 metric tons. Now, what does that number actually mean? Well, what it means is when the winch is on its first layer of rope and voltage is perfect and everything's perfect, that winch would pull that number in a flat line scenario. So if you put a set of scales at the end of the winch rope on the first layer of rope on the drum and the electrical system was perfect, that's how much power you would generate with the winch. Now, in practice, we don't tend to see that number very often. What do I mean by the first layer of rope? What I mean is, imagine all of the winch rope is out and to a tree way over there, and the first layer of rope is the first layer of rope on the winch drum. And as you winch in, that layer will fill up, and then you'll go to your second layer. Then you'll go to your third layer. So that's what I mean by layers of rope. As those layers increase, because the distance from the rope where it comes onto the drum to the center of the drum gets larger, it's like a lever, and the winch will lose its winching capacity. So to close this bit out, what size winch do you need for your vehicle? Well, let's say you've got a very small vehicle. Well, you need a smaller rated winch, somewhere in the, let's say, 6,000 to 9,000 pound winch. This vehicle here is a 200 series Land Cruiser, and we put our slide-on camper on the back, and when we do all of that and load up, we're sitting at a bit over 4 metric tons, so we're quite heavy. So I've got a 12,000 pound winch in here. Now, if you understand how to use your winch, there's nothing wrong with putting a larger winch on a smaller vehicle. For example, I've got a Toyota Bundira, which is under 2 metric tons of weight, and on that vehicle I also have a 12,000 pound winch. Without going into it too deeply, the reason I put a 12,000 pound winch on a very light vehicle was the way I used that vehicle was extreme. I was always looking for the hardest four-wheel driving I could do with the vehicle, and this allowed me to do what we call a single line winch pull with the 12,000 pound winch and recover the vehicle most of the time. But with the 200 series, oftentimes because it's a heavier vehicle, I will go to a double line winch pull, which basically doubles the power of the 12,000 pound winch and allows me to get out of the bogging situation. The other consideration here is cost. A bigger winch will tend to cost more money, and you may choose to go for a smaller winch to suit your application. The other consideration is the physical size of the winch. Generally speaking, and there's always exceptions, a 12,000, 9,000 pound, 6,000 pound winch will sit between the chassis rails and fit in that space on most four-wheel drives. If you were to get a 15,000 or 20,000 pound winch, you may find it doesn't fit in the front of your vehicle. Plus, it's also going to be heavier. So these are the considerations you need to give to what vehicle you're using, how you're going to use it, therefore what type of winch will best suit your scenario. Let's talk about the control systems for the winch. Firstly, I love having an isolator on the winch right up there at the battery, and the reason is I learnt the hard way that when you don't run an isolator, things can go wrong. Many years ago, my wife, Mrs. Mad Matt, took our 80 series Land Cruiser into a shopping centre car park. Next thing, over the PA system comes an announcement, would the owner of such and such 80 series please make their way back to the vehicle. When she got back there, the vehicle's on fire. Yes, the car's burning down in the car park. The reason was that weekend I'd done a bit of work on the car and I'd played with the solenoids to service them. I don't know exactly what I got wrong, but when it was parked up, all of a sudden the winch started winching in until it stalled out, and then everything got really, really hot until it caught fire and we burnt half of the vehicle down. Now, I was able to repair the vehicle, but since then I'm always really keen to run an isolator right up close to the battery. Now, on this winch, it also has an isolator right here. And the way I use that is if I'm on a trip and I'm going to be probably doing a few winches over the trip, I'll turn the engine bay isolator on and leave this one off. Then when I come to a winching situation, I can flick that on and now the winch will work. What are some of the other controls that I really like? I really do enjoy the Bluetooth controller, and I love having that with my winches. And the reason is the flexibility it gives me. It allows me to use the winch from inside the cab of the vehicle. It allows me to use it outside the front of the vehicle if I'm stowing the winch or setting up. It also allows me to give the winch controller to somebody outside the vehicle so they control the winch whilst I drive, and sometimes that's the best scenario. So I love having the Bluetooth type controller. But if the batteries go flat on this controller, I can always use the cable controller that comes with the winch, and that's a great scenario as well. You can also go to the extent of putting in-cab winch controls, and you have a switch on the dash that allows you to isolate the winch like this winch controller does, and it allows you to operate the in-out of the winch from the dash of the vehicle, and that's an excellent feature to have as well. Now, over the years I've come across a number of people that have a winch fitted to their vehicle. They don't know where the controller is, they don't know how to use it, and they don't have any of the other equipment that you need for a winch recovery. So let's just run through some of the other equipment I think you need to have if you're going to look at installing a winch into your vehicle. You can't really use the winch properly if you don't have this gear. So what are some of the stuff we need? Well, you need devices that allow you to connect to an anchor point. The key one we're going to use is a tree trunk protector, because trees tend to be out there where we get stuck, and these allow us to connect to the tree, use it as an anchor, and protect the tree. But we can also use these tree trunk protectors to wrap it around a rock or some other device. We can even, if we have to bury our spare tire or a set of tread boards in some sand or whatever, we're going to be able to use this to connect up to that as well. So it's a very versatile and basic piece of recovery kit. That's the tree trunk protector. Other countries call them different things. Next, we want to have a device that we can use as a bridle. Now, I like this. It's a rope that's got a protective sheath. Now, I've used this a heap, so it's a little bit, showing some age and wear there, but it's got a sheath that protects the inner rope. The key thing about this is its length. It's actually quite long, and why that's important is if you run a short bridle, well, then you're going to have a lot of force pulling your chassis rails together. So you actually want a bridle that's around about this sort of length, comes out from the front of the vehicle about 1.5 meters, 2 meters, that sort of thing. And that will give you the correct angle so that you're not overloading componentry. The next thing I think we need is soft shackles. And I would suggest you need 4 soft shackles as a minimum. You're going to use 2 of your soft shackles to connect to your vehicle most of the time, and your other 2 soft shackles will come in handy in other winching configurations. So how would we use a bridle in this situation? Well, if I get stuck, like I was saying earlier, this vehicle can be quite heavy, and I'll often go to a double line winch pull, which means I'll take my winch rope out to the tree where I've got my tree trunk protector, and then I run it through a pulley block like this, which is going to run through here and then back to the vehicle. So that's where I need the extra soft shackles. So I'm going to have a soft shackle here onto my tree trunk protector, and then when this comes back to the vehicle, I'm going to have a soft shackle here to connect up. Okay, that's some basic equipment that you're going to need. But there is one other piece of equipment which I think is really important. It's a winch extension rope. Now, I like the rope over a strap, which you can get. The rope I prefer because it's light, it's flexible and easy to pack, but it's also able to be used as a winch rope on the winch drum if I break the winch rope, but I just find these to be a lot more flexible and usable in different recovery situations. How are you going to use that? Any number of different ways. You might find that your winch anchor point's just a little bit too far away and you're doing a double line pull, you can extend it with this. There's all sorts of scenarios. But that's the very basics of a kit that you want to have with you if you're going to go to the expense of fitting a winch to your 4-wheel drive. So I mentioned I wanted to show you something that I reckon is really cool when it comes to pretty much any 4-wheel drive recovery, and it's an app. Now, it's called Safe Extract, and it's developed by a guy called Chris Cole in the USA. I bought the app. He doesn't pay me any money. There's no deal going on. I just think it's a fantastic product for people out there on the tracks to work out how they can recover their vehicle. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take you through a scenario using my 200 series as an example of getting yourself out of a bogging situation. So you're going to come to the app, and I think you've got to pay about 14 Australian dollars. Extracting a stuck vehicle. So we go in here and we get asked the question, my vehicle is stuck or I'm assisting someone else. So we'll go, my vehicle is stuck. Then we go to the weight of our vehicle. Now you just have to estimate it. So I'm going to put my vehicle at about the 4-ton mark. There we go, and next step. Now it asks you, how steep a gradient are you on? Are you uphill, downhill, all of that sort of thing? And it's got a gradient sensor in it down here, so you can actually turn that sensor on or off. Okay, I'm going to choose a reasonably steep hill. We'll get up there at, oh, come on. Oh, come on. Okay, we're 40 degrees. This is steep. Okay, it says please contact expert. All right.
I'm a drip under pressure, so we'll drop it back to 31 degrees. All right, it's a steep hill still. The number of wheels that are bogged, 4 of them, okay? Now, if you had only one wheel bogged, you can put that in there. We're going to go with 4. What sort of terrain are we on? Okay, let's go with, let's find some deep mud. There we go. We're going to make this one serious. Okay, so we're in deep mud. Next step. Are we going to be using my vehicle's winch, or are we going to use an assisting vehicle's winch? It matters. We're going to use my vehicle's winch, and my winch is a 12,000 pound winch, so just under that 5.5 tonne. Next step. Here's the summary of the recovery that we're going to do. Now we go recovery options, and it's working out the methods that we have available to us to recover the vehicle. So we could use a single line pull, a double line pull, or a Spanish Burton. You might be thinking to yourself, I don't know how to do a double line pull. Well, you can go down here and you can tap this, and it shows you and tells you how to do that sort of recovery. You can even watch a training video on how to do it. So if you're new to four-wheel driving and not familiar with recovery methods, this is a fantastic tool that's going to help you out there on the trails. Now, there may be other apps or tools out there that you can use to recover yourself and help you out like this. If there are, let me know in the comments, because I don't know of them. But I've found this one to be a superb tool that's really helpful, and I'd love to see more people using it out there on the trails. I'm Mad Matt. Stay safe on the trails.